What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and we're going to get into the Week 6 picks and predictions that I have for this weekend. Now, starting things off on Saturday at 1 p.m. That's right, we actually get a game that isn't during the night, and that's so nice because this game is going to be at Camping World Stadium. We're going to be in Orlando. Hopefully, it's going to be sunny there in Florida. The clouds will dissipate. We'll have a great weather, great setup for a game between the Seattle Dragons and the Orlando Guardians. Now, the Dragons are giving up 8.5 points to this Orlando team, and our over-under is 42.5 points. Looking at these two teams, the Dragons have come off of a very big win last week. It was a huge win to knock off the undefeated Roughnecks, and I think that this team is just going to continue on steamrolling. But there are a couple issues that they have to take care of, and mainly they have to do with interceptions and fumbles. Listen, if DiNucci can figure out how to not turn over the ball, this team legitimately could be undefeated right now. He seems to be progressing as a leader, and he really needs to do that. He has a really, really high ceiling. This is a guy who could end up back in the NFL and legitimately could be starting for some team if he could get his act together when it comes to interceptions, when it comes to making bad decisions on bad throws, and just taking care of the ball in general more. Now, on the flip side of that as well, there are some fumbling issues when you're looking at the running back position. Listen, Ellison has done a fantastic job, but he has had some issues with holding onto the ball. And those two things right there are things that could have lost them the game last week. Outside of that, the offense played a fairly decent game, especially against arguably the best defense in the league. So this is really a team that doesn't really need to change a whole lot, doesn't need to really... There isn't a lot that's wrong with the offense other than the mistakes. And it isn't always just the interceptions or the fumbles. You can kind of, that play where DiNucci threw the ball and Gordon just kind of gave up on the play and it was the interception. And a lot of it has to do with those type of things, those mental errors and letting up at times when they shouldn't. If they can fix that stuff, this team is gonna be fine. They're stacked on offense across the board. They've got a great system, a great coordinator, and I think that they're gonna do well there. Now the defense just needs to stay hungry. This defense can wreak havoc on this Guardians team. I mean, they could have a heyday with this Guardians O-line. Last week they went up against probably arguably the best offense, and they shut that offense down. The offense had time and time again, and they rose to the occasion. I see them rising to the occasion here, but they need to stay hungry in this game. Now, looking over at the Guardian side of things, and Dormady needs to be their quarterback. That's just the reality of it here. He needs to be their quarterback, and he needs to lead this team. They have all of the pieces in place that they need to run this team. So as you look at this, I mean, if he can get the ball to Latimer, if he can get the ball to Rambo, Rogers, Lenore, I mean, the guys that they have, the talent on that receiving core, and that, if the hand the ball off to Martin, they're going to do a fantastic job. The key thing here is that O-line needs to stop with the mistakes. They need to quit with all of their penalties, their false starts, their holdings, and things of that nature. And two, they need to protect their quarterback. Last week, they gave up 4 sacks, and this is a defense in Seattle that is going to just feast on that. They have a really, really good D-line there in Seattle, and Lalo's had a crazy game last game. I mean, the list goes on with those guys with that defense, and if they stay hungry, this O-line is going to need to go to another level if they're going to want to keep up with that defense. The other thing here is that they did a pretty good job of this last week, but they faltered there at the end, and it's not letting the game get away from them. This Orlando team is a team that when you watch them, it's been pretty bad over the season, but it's just that they start off decent and they kind of hang with the teams, and then as the game progresses, whether it be turnovers, whether it be mistakes, whatever, the team just kind of, the game gets away from them, and then all of a sudden they're in a hole that they can't get out of. They just, for whatever reason, they love to pick up the shovel, they love to dig themselves a hole, and before they know it, they're 6 feet under and don't know what to do. This is a team that if they can figure out how to ebb and flow with the game, they're going to pick up some wins on this season, even though, right now they're the only winless team in the league. I don't see that happening today, though. I see this being a big Dragons win, a 29-15 win. So I would go ahead. I would give the points up. I would go with the over. I think that they're going to score some points because they do have that talent on that Orlando's team. I think that Dormady is going to come in. I think that you're going to see that progression at the quarterback position, but I feel that O-line just isn't where it really needs to be, and this Dragons defense is really showing that they are a good defense. So I think it's going to be tough sledding for them today. I think that they're going to make mistakes on the O-line. I think you're going to get a couple of takeaways that Seattle's going to take advantage of, and I think today is going to be the first day that you're going to see the Dragons not have a lot of issues with the turnovers. I think that turnover bug is going to be kind of taken care of today. They're going to have a remedy for it, and I think that it's going to be a fun one to watch for Dragons fans on Saturday afternoon. Now, turning our attention to the 7 p.m. game, and this game's going to be back on FX, and we're going to be at Cashman Field there in Vegas. And listen, the weather there is supposed to be decent. We're not supposed to have any wind. We're not supposed to have any precipitation. It's going to be, I think it's supposed to be around in the 50s at game time, so it's not going to be super cold or whatever. So hopefully, and you could tell Cashman Field's been progressively getting better, and so hopefully they don't have the wind when they're up on that scaffolding and all of that for the game tonight. Now we've got the St. Louis BattleHawks coming into town and facing the Vegas Vipers. The BattleHawks are giving 3 points to the Vipers. The over-under here is 44.5. And right now, the BattleHawks are in that place where they've lost 2 big games on the season. And they're kind of in that place to where this game could be a gotcha game. It could be one of those hangover type of games for this team, and I think that that's why why they're giving up 3 points in this game. I think that that's why you're getting that here is because of the opportunities that's there with that. This Battlehawk team needs to figure out how to get that ball back vertical again. Last week, for whatever reason, they had Butler running these short routes, whether it be ins, whether it be outs, whether it be little hitches. He needs to be getting vertical. Last game was the only game he hasn't had a touchdown, and the reason why he gets those touchdowns is they get vertical, they throw the ball up, and he wins those one-on-one matchups. And if they can't get back to that, I think that they're going to struggle, especially in the passing game, and also being able to open up that running game, because I think that they've got a really good thing going with Hill there. Not that the other guys aren't good, but Hill is just the type of runner that they want to run that style of running game, and hopefully they bring back those intricacies that they've had in their offense that they were starting to add, and it just seems they went vanilla last week. So hopefully they can figure that out and pick that up. And I know part of the vanilla is that AJ got sacked 5 times last week. Sorry, I was thinking 4, but it's actually 5 times last week. So they need to really figure out how to protect him and not that happen. He's a guy that's not going to be running the ball around a whole lot. His mobility, it's not terrible, but it's not the greatest thing either. So they need to figure that out. If they can figure that out and especially get vertical, that this BattleHawks team is going to look really, really good this week, and they're going to put some points up on the board. Now, the thing that they need to do on defense-wise is they need to stop the pass. The Vipers are very, very reliant on their pass. Running game was not as anemic as what it has been in the past, but that Guardians defense is not a very good defense, and this BattleHawks defense is kind of one of those to where it's kind of a really traditional bend don't break type of a defense, to where they're going to give up a lot of yards and that, but when it comes down to it, that they get the stops, they do what they need to do, and in this game they really need to do that. Last week they got punched in the mouth, and it was tough for them. I don't think they're going to get that with this Vipers team, to where I think that this game's going to play a little bit more into the way that they want it, but they really need to stop that pass. The pass is the bread and butter, and that's where the Vipers have been getting all of their success. And so if they can go ahead and stop that and get to Luis Perez and make him make mistakes, which I think that they can, and he possibly could make mistakes in this game, that's going to be a long day for the Vipers. Looking at the Vipers, Perez I think he just needs to be the distributor here. I think that if he can get the ball out to their playmakers, it's going to be a nice day for them. I think that their offense is really predicated on that passing game, being able to get the ball out there, get it to multiple guys very early on. I think that'll open up their running game even more. They've been kind of opening that offense up and not playing so close, which has helped the running game. I think that they need to continue to build on this running game. I don't think it's where it needs to be or where it could be. I think Lovett and Rod Smith really have some opportunities to grow. I think that they could possibly do that in this game and take further strides, but it's all really predicated on whether or not Luis Perez can distribute the ball to those wide receivers. And yes, I say Perez. I don't think that we're going to get Hundley back in this situation. I think that they might stick with Perez in this. Now, their defense really needs to... They need to stop with the mistakes. They play really good defense, and then, I mean, it's happened to them week in and week out, and then something happens, something breaks down, whether it be communication, whether it be a penalty, whether it be somebody out of position. That defense plays really well, and they've got guys like they've got guys that can really step up and play on that defense. It has nothing to do with not having studs or having guys with they have dudes on that defense. The issue and the problem here with them is that they'll get to, like, it'll be a 3 and out, and then somebody will do a penalty that'll give the other team a first down. They'll go off sides, and then all of a sudden now it's a 1st and 5. Somebody will blow a assignment, and they'll have a nice 15-yard play. That's what happens to this team. But if Beasley in this defense can kind of play a little bit more discipline, get out the mistakes, they're going to have a decent day against this BattleHawks offense, which I think that they match up fairly well with, and I think that they could get after the quarterback. I mean, this is a team that got some sacks last week, and they're playing against a team that gave up 5 sacks. So they got 4 sacks last week, and the team they're playing gave up 5 sacks. They could get after the quarterback here, and they could have a heyday on this team. I really do believe that could happen here. So my thought process, though, on this game is that last week was really just The Vipers, the win, I think it was a good booster for them, but this team is not on the same level as the BattleHawks team, and we're going to show, and again, you're going to see the issues that this Vipers team has. I think that this is just going to push them even further down in the hole. I don't see this Vipers team coming out with a win. I think that the BattleHawks are going to correct some things. You're going to see that the BattleHawks are a good team again. We're kind of all worried about this BattleHawks team. Where are they at, with after that big loss at home, to tie things up and get revenge, and they weren't able to pull that off. And, the defenders had a big day against them. I think that they're going to take it out on this Vipers team, who is coming in with just kind of this false sense of, we're fixing things, we got to win. The win against the Guardians, I don't think it's a win, but it's not really against a quality opponent to where it's not one to where I think that it's really a true test of this team moving forward. I think you're going to see that this team, people, they're like, oh, they got to win, they got the monkey off their back. I still think that monkey's there. So all in all, I think that this is going to be a nice win for the BattleHawks. It's going to be a 27-22 game. I think that it's going to seem closer than what it really is, but I think the BattleHawks are going to be in control of this game the whole time. I think that, in the fourth quarter that the Vipers are still going to have a shot at it, at, coming back and that, but I think the BattleHawks are going to control it. Definitely go with the over. Go ahead and give up the 3 points, and those are my thoughts for the two games on Saturday. As always, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation on down there. Listen, guys, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. Have a good night.